Why reading is important. Mia often felt a peculiar ache in her chest. She understood English television shows perfectly, comprehended complex articles, and could even follow intricate conversations with ease. Yet, when it came to forming her own sentences, her tongue felt heavy, her mind blank. It was a frustrating paradox, a silent barrier separating her from true fluency and confidence in spoken communication. This common struggle weighed heavily. She longed to join in the lively debates, to share her opinions freely, to truly connect with native speakers without hesitation. "I understand English, but I can't speak well," she'd often lament to herself, a quiet whisper of despair. This internal monologue became a constant companion, a nagging reminder of her perceived inadequacy, despite her significant passive knowledge of the language. The desire to break free was strong. One day, her friend Liam, an enthusiastic language learner himself, noticed Mia's quiet frustration. "Mia," he began gently, "I think I know why reading is so important. It truly is a powerful tool. It actually changed everything for me. You might find your missing link there. It's more than just words on a page, trust me." His eyes held a knowing glimmer. Mia was skeptical. She already read plenty, or so she thought. "But I already read," she protested. "Does that truly make a difference for speaking? I need English talking practice, not just more silent consumption of text. My brain feels full of input, yet the output remains stubbornly blocked." Liam smiled, understanding her specific hesitation and doubt. "Not just any reading, Mia," Liam clarified patiently. "You need to read actively, intentionally, almost as if you were speaking the words aloud in your head. It's a way of learning English that builds bridges between comprehension and production. It's transformative. Think of it as a silent conversation unfolding inside your mind, preparing you for real ones." He explained how regular reading, especially of varied texts, exposed her to natural sentence structures and common collocations. Why reading is important, he emphasized, is because it imprints the correct patterns directly onto your linguistic subconscious. You absorb grammar and vocabulary intuitively, without the tedious need for explicit memorization of rules, which often feels forced and unnatural. Mia decided to give it a sincere try. She started with simplified novels, then moved to articles about her hobbies. Every new word she encountered, she noted down, but instead of memorizing definitions, she focused on understanding the word in its context. This method was a revelation for how to learn words effectively and deeply. She didn't just passively read anymore. She reread sentences, trying to hear them in her mind, imagining herself saying them. This active engagement slowly started rewiring her brain. It was like building a robust internal dictionary connected directly to her potential speech center, linking comprehension to the ability to articulate thoughts verbally and clearly. The more she read, the more she noticed specific phrases repeating, common expressions, and natural conversational fillers. This helped her understand how people speak English in real-life situations, not just the textbook versions. She began to internalize the rhythm and flow of the language, which is crucial for natural communication and sounding authentic. Liam also stressed the importance of listening. "Reading gives you the framework," he advised, "but listening adds the melody, the authentic sound." You need to listen and practice simultaneously, combining both for maximum impact. Find podcasts, interviews, and real conversations. Immerse yourself completely. Try to shadow speakers. Mia started listening to English podcasts during her commute, focusing on the intonation and pronunciation of the speakers. She began to imitate their speech patterns, trying to match their rhythm. This fusion of reading and listening was a powerful synergy, truly accelerating her progress and refining her understanding of nuances in spoken English. She discovered that reading provided the raw material, the words and structures, while listening offered the proper delivery. It was like learning a song. You need the sheet music, but you also need to hear it played to understand the emotion and tempo. This holistic approach was truly unlocking new potential within her. The real challenge remained: English talking practice. Liam encouraged her to find opportunities to speak, no matter how small or intimidating they seemed initially. Even if you feel shy, he reassured her, start with simple exchanges. The goal is just to activate your speaking muscles, to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice. Mia joined an online language exchange group. Her first few conversations were awkward, filled with long pauses and fumbled words. She still felt that familiar barrier, the frustration of "I understand English, but I can't speak well." Yet, she persisted, remembering Liam's gentle encouragement and focusing on incremental progress. She started applying her reading and listening insights directly to her conversations. When she struggled for a word, she'd recall a similar phrase from a book. When she heard an unfamiliar idiom, she'd make a mental note to look it up later, enhancing her vocabulary and natural expression. This active application was vital. She learned that knowing how to learn words wasn't just about flashcards. It was about encountering words repeatedly in different contexts, seeing them in action. Reading provided that rich tapestry of natural usage. This organic method felt far more intuitive and sustainable than rote memorization, building a deeper understanding. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, a shift began to occur. The words that had previously been locked away in her comprehension vault started to emerge, tentatively at first, then with more confidence. Her sentences became less fragmented, her pauses shorter. This gradual improvement was incredibly motivating and encouraging for Mia. She noticed her confidence growing with each successful interaction. The fear of making mistakes, which had been a huge impediment, began to lessen. She realized that everyone makes mistakes, and they are simply part of the learning process, not a sign of failure or inadequacy. This shift in mindset was empowering. Reading had indeed provided the strong foundation. It built up her internal grammar system, expanded her vocabulary, and familiarized her with natural English expressions. This solid base was essential for her to feel confident enough to start experimenting with speaking, moving beyond mere recognition to active use of language. Listening had refined her ear, tuning her to the nuances of pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. She could now discern subtle differences in meaning conveyed by tone. This improved auditory comprehension was critical for understanding how people speak English in diverse real-world situations, enhancing her overall communication skills significantly. The consistent English talking practice, though initially terrifying, was the crucial step that linked everything together. It forced her to retrieve and use the language she had been absorbing. It transformed passive knowledge into active, functional communication ability, which was the ultimate goal of her intensive learning journey. Mia started to feel genuinely comfortable expressing herself. She could articulate complex thoughts, engage in spontaneous banter, and even tell stories with a natural flow. The frustrating sensation of "I understand English, but I can't speak well" began to fade into a distant, unpleasant memory, replaced by a sense of accomplishment. Her journey highlighted that there isn't one single magic bullet for language learning, but rather a combination of interconnected strategies. Why reading is important truly lies in its ability to build a robust internal linguistic framework, preparing the mind for the demands of spontaneous conversation and fluent expression. It's not just about decoding words, it's about absorbing patterns. Reading allows you to see how native speakers structure their thoughts, how they connect ideas, and how they convey emotion through language. This deep immersion is crucial for developing an intuitive grasp of English and its many subtle complexities. Moreover, reading cultivates a nuanced understanding of vocabulary. Instead of just memorizing isolated words, you learn words in context, seeing their various shades of meaning and typical usage. This prevents awkward misapplications and helps you sound more natural when you eventually speak, enhancing your communicative precision greatly. Liam had been right. Reading was far more than a passive activity. It was an active, preparatory step, a silent rehearsal for the main performance of speaking. It laid the groundwork for confident articulation, allowing the brain to process and organize linguistic information effectively before needing to produce it under pressure. The connection between reading and fluent speaking became incredibly clear to Mia. She saw that the more she read, the richer her internal language database became, providing her with more options and more precise expressions when she wanted to articulate her thoughts. It empowered her verbal repertoire tremendously. And how to learn words truly transformed for her. Instead of laborious memorization, she now understood that words were best learned through repeated exposure in meaningful contexts. Reading provided that context in abundance, allowing her to acquire vocabulary organically and retain it much more effectively over time. She also realized the profound benefit of listen and practice. Listening not only improved her comprehension, but also trained her ear to the specific sounds, rhythms, and stresses of English. This auditory training was vital for both understanding native speakers and for making her own speech more comprehensible and natural. She started actively analyzing how people speak English by paying close attention to their tone, pace, and common phrases. She noticed how they used fillers, how they paused for effect, and how they expressed hesitation or certainty. This observational learning proved invaluable for developing her own natural speaking style. The combination of reading, listening, and consistent talking practice was the definitive way of learning English that transformed Mia's abilities. It wasn't a quick fix, but a sustained, deliberate effort that yielded remarkable results over time, building a robust and reliable foundation for her language skills. To how to improve your English, Mia discovered it was about consistency and multifaceted engagement. There was no single shortcut, but a synergistic approach where each element reinforced the others. It was a continuous cycle of input, processing, and output, leading to incremental and sustainable growth in her fluency. Her journey became an inspiring testament to anyone who felt the frustration of understanding but not speaking. She proved that the perceived gap between passive comprehension and active production could be bridged with the right strategies and persistent dedication to the learning process. It was a powerful personal victory. Mia now confidently engaged in English conversations, her words flowing freely and naturally. She no longer feared speaking, but embraced every opportunity to communicate, refining her skills with each interaction. The initial struggle seemed like a distant memory, replaced by the joy of seamless expression and connection. She often reflected on Liam's initial advice. Why reading is so important resonated deeply now. It was the silent architect of her fluency, building the linguistic scaffolding upon which her speaking abilities could confidently stand and flourish in various conversational contexts. This realization was truly profound. She shared her insights with others struggling with similar issues. It's not just about grammar books, she'd tell them, nor about endless vocabulary lists. You need to immerse yourself in the language as it's naturally used. That's how to learn words effectively and really make them your own for future use. Think of reading as feeding your brain with proper English patterns, she'd explain. Then, listen and practice helps you internalize the sound and rhythm. Finally, talking practice pulls it all together. It's an integrated system, a holistic approach that truly accelerates your journey towards genuine fluency. She emphasized the power of active reading, advising them to visualize the scenes, to imagine themselves speaking the dialogue, and to even read aloud occasionally. This active engagement transformed the passive act of reading into a dynamic tool for language acquisition and internalizing native-like structures. For English talking practice, she suggested finding low-pressure environments first. Perhaps talking to yourself or recording your voice, or finding a patient language partner. The key was to start somewhere. Any small step towards verbalizing thoughts and gaining comfort with spontaneous expression in English. She also spoke about the importance of being patient with oneself. Fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, full of small victories and occasional setbacks. The determination to listen and practice consistently, even on difficult days, was paramount to sustained progress. It builds resilience. Mia truly understood now how people speak English. It wasn't just about perfect grammar. It was about flow, intonation, common expressions, and even body language. Reading and listening provided insights into these cultural and communicative nuances, making her own speech more natural and effective. She became an advocate for extensive reading, recommending a wide variety of genres and difficulty levels. The more you read, she preached, the more exposure you get to diverse vocabulary and sentence structures. This breadth of input directly enriches your capacity for varied and nuanced output when speaking. And the notion of, I understand English, but I can't speak well, became her personal motto for encouraging others. She'd explain that this feeling is common, a bridgeable gap, and that consistent effort using proven strategies could certainly lead to breakthrough results and genuine communicative freedom. She even helped others with how to learn words, advising them to look for synonyms and antonyms, to group words by topic, and most importantly, to see them in context. This organic approach to vocabulary acquisition made the learning process much less daunting and significantly more effective over time. Mia's transformation was remarkable. From someone who hesitated to utter a single sentence, she had become a confident communicator, capable of articulating her thoughts with clarity and nuance. This journey was a testament to the power of deliberate practice and integrating various learning modalities effectively. Her story served as a powerful example of how to improve your English. It wasn't about finding a magic trick, but about embracing the foundational elements, consistent input through reading and listening, coupled with courageous output through regular talking practice. It was a holistic and effective system. She proved that the barrier of "I understand English, but I can't speak well" is surmountable. It required understanding the underlying mechanisms of language acquisition and then diligently applying the right techniques, building confidence step by step through consistent exposure and active engagement with the language. Mia now found immense joy in how to talk in English. Conversations were no longer a source of anxiety, but an exciting opportunity to connect, to learn, and to express herself authentically. Her fluency had opened up new worlds of social interaction and professional opportunities, enriching her life significantly. The initial frustration had morphed into profound gratitude for the process. She understood that every book read, every podcast listened to, and every conversation attempted had contributed to her current level of proficiency. Each step, no matter how small, played a crucial role in her journey. She continued to advocate for the deep importance of reading. "It's the quiet superpower," she'd often say, "that builds your internal dictionary and grammar instinctively. Without it, your speaking foundation will always feel a bit shaky, lacking the natural flow and precision needed for true fluency." Mia's narrative illustrated that effective language learning is an ongoing journey of exploration and integration. It involves continuously blending different methods, adapting strategies, and consistently challenging oneself to step outside of comfort zones for maximum growth and development in linguistic ability. Her triumph over the common "I understand English, but I can't speak well" dilemma inspired many. She had demystified the process, showing that active engagement with reading, diligent listening, and consistent talking practice were the keys to unlocking one's true communicative potential and confidence. Every new word she now acquired from her reading seamlessly integrated into her active vocabulary. The context provided by the text ensured that she not only knew the definition, but also understood its appropriate usage in various conversational settings, making her speech much more precise and natural. The rhythm and intonation she absorbed from listen and practice sessions subtly influenced her own speech patterns, making her sound more native-like and articulate. Her ears became finely tuned instruments, picking up nuances that once eluded her, truly enhancing her overall communicative prowess. Mia's transformation was complete. She was no longer held captive by her thoughts. Her English flowed effortlessly, a testament to her dedication and the powerful synergy of reading, listening, and consistent practice. Her journey became a beacon for aspiring English speakers worldwide.